Hi everyone, welcome. It's Matt today, and today I want to introduce something very nice to you guys. It's something that's not often discussed. It's about build analysis. I'll be introducing 3 things to you guys when we analyze a build, and those things will be crucial when we select the build and when we pick a build in the future. There are a few factors which you consider before selecting a build. I have split the build into 3 parts. One is maturity, one is lock and roll, and the last one is optimum level, being each level higher than the other. Let's have a look at the first one. For build maturity, a build usually matures when we have a few crucial units, and this is when we can save up for the game. We want to know when our build matures and when we can start saving up without worrying about losing too much HP in the process. So usually around 10 to 18, a build can mature. Let's have a look at some of the examples over here. For Troll and Knights, it's pretty solid at level 7 when we have the 4 Trolls and the 4 Knights. This is when we can save up. For the Dragons and Knights, it's pretty solid at level 6 with 4 Knights and Dragons, or at level 8 with 6 Knights. I know it's not that optimal to go to level 8 that early, so the level 8 here is less to the build maturity. Level 8 here is more for the build optimal level. So over here for Dragons, when level 6 with 4 Knights, you actually want a few Knights to be 2-star. With the 4 Knights and the 3 Dragons, you can consider saving pretty nicely, and you should not be losing too much because you have the tank, you have the damage dealer. Similarly, 6 Elves will allow the Elves to mature. You want a few 2-star Elves, and ideally, if you find a Lone Druid, you can find some 3-star Elves, but that is not needed when you are saving for the Elves as well. So 6 Elves and some 2-star Elves should help you start to save up. Similarly, 3 Hunters plus 3 Warriors can start a build mature, and you can start saving up as well. And lastly, 3 mages and a decent frontline. The crucial mages being Razor, Crystal Maiden, and Keeper of the Light. The decent frontline can be a 2-star Axe, 2-star Juggernaut, 2-star Beastmaster, or maybe 2-star Timbersaw and Clockwork. What I want to highlight is, when we know our build matures, we can start saving up. This is a true indicator because we need the economy to take us from the early game into the mid game. We can be spending those gold very early and very quickly, or we can be spending those gold to be rolling with a comfortable 50 gold surplus. The second thing we'll be looking at is lock and roll. This is around 19 to around 25. This is when we have enough gold, we have saved enough gold, and we generally want our health to be a little higher before we start rolling. Why is that? When our health is low, 2 things we want to consider is the desperation leveling up and the desperation rolls. But usually I'm considering the situation where health is about 50% and we can be rolling for 2-star units for 4 cost units. Say we need a purple unit for a Lone Druid 2-star, or we need a Lone Druid for Lone Druid 3-star. We need another Doom for 2-star Doom. So we can be rolling for those 2-star units or the 3-star units here. This is the difference maker when we can be the top 4 position and we can go higher. Because usually in the later stage of the game, whoever has a few 3-star units tend to come out on top in the mini skirmishes. Usually we want to roll with excess gold that is about 50. There are a few indicators in game. The ones being the rounds, what round it is, and the second one is how much HP we have. I tend to level up at round 17, at round 21, round 26, and round 31. Or if I don't feel like leveling up, I can be rolling at those rounds. Similarly, if my HP is less than 50% at round 21, I tend to be rolling, I tend to be spending more. If my HP is close or equal to 50 at round 25, I am actually slightly okay because I know I'm actually on average on top of most players at that stage of the game. For most builds, rolling at level 7 and level 8 are optimal choices. Once we get to level 9, we actually lose 5% rate of finding a 3-cost unit. So this can be costly, and this can be also double costly when we spend lots of gold to level 9 and then we start rolling. So those gold we actually saved up can be used for further rolling at level 8 instead of going to level 9. But of course, there should always be a balance, because for certain builds like goblins, the win condition is the 5-cost goblin techies for the 6 goblins. So this is very different. In a scenario, you actually want to be rolling at level 9 with a solid economy compared to other builds, which they actually requires to find 3 stars. Here we just need a 1-star unit, that's a techies for the 6 goblins. I tend to roll at level 7 with surplus over 50 gold when HP is greater than 50% before round 21, and the goal here is to roll for 4 units to 2-star and 1 cost, 2 cost, and 3 cost units to 3-star. This is something I mentioned earlier. This is because it's quite hard to get 4 cost units to 3 star. It's great if we do so, but usually we want to get the lower cost units to 3 star if we can. And similarly, I start rerolling at level 8 after round 26. And a good tip for rolling for 3 star units is to not get too greedy. If we aim for multiple 3 star units to put on, we actually find ourselves to be short on bench units or bench slots. So usually maximum units I look for 3 stars are 3 units. For example, I can have the Luna, the Chaos Knight, and the Bat Rider. That means I won't be buying any Oni Knight, any Abaddon if I'm going for 6 Knights. When we are picking units to level to 3 star, we want to pick the lower cost units and the more impactful ones. Of course, this can be a balance, simply because sometimes the lower cost units are not that impactful. So for that particular reason, in the future guides, I'll be giving you guys top units to roll for 3 stars. For example, over here for Knights, we want to roll the Luna to 3 star, followed by the Chaos Knight to 3 star, followed by the Bat Rider. Notice that Bat Rider is cheaper, but he's less impactful. Followed by that is the Oni Knight, Abaddon, and lastly is the Dragon Knight to 3 star. And in reverse actually, if we want a 2 star unit, we actually want the Dragon Knight, Abaddon, Oni Knight, then Bat Rider is probably pretty easy, then the Chaos Knight. But the Luna will also is the top 2 star unit first as well, because she does a lot more damage when she's 2 star. Similarly, if I'm rolling for Assassins, Bounty Hunter, Queen of Pain, and Morphling are usually the ones I want to find as a 3 star unit because they're cheaper and they're easy to find in the early game. Followed by the Phantom Assassin, and she's pretty much on par with the Templar Assassin. The last unit I want to find as a 3 star is the Viper. So also we need to keep in mind the Templar Assassin is a very nice assassin. If she is a 2 star unit, she can do a lot with her refraction charges. Sometimes all the assassin dies and she is our last tank assassin on the board. Lastly, a good example is mages. Usually I want Crystal Maiden and Razor to be 2 star as soon as possible, then followed by Shadowfang and Keeper of the Light. This is very similar when I roll for 3 stars as well. The Crystal Maiden is quite cheap because she only costs 2 gold, and she can be my top candidate for 3 star unit. And in comparison, the Shadowfang and the Razor are pretty much on par. The Keeper of the Light is the last unit I want to roll for 3 stars, because he will be costing 4 gold each, and to get 9 Keeper of the Light, he will cost us 36 gold. In comparison, Crystal Maiden only costs us 18 gold to be 3 star. Of course, the rolling for 3 stars, we know that 3 star units are actually more impactful when they're the higher tier units. For example, a 3 star Dragon Knight, 3 star Keeper of the Light, or 3 star Templar Assassin. But usually in games, we want to keep in mind the difficulty of rolling for them because there are a limited number of them in the pool. For the 4 cost units, there's only 15 of them. It's becoming increasingly harder to roll for them. And in the higher rank games, people sees you rolling for the last few, they actually might deny you the last few you have. I actually had a game when I was 1 Dragon Knight short of getting the 3 star Dragon Knight. The enemy Queen player actually denied multiple Dragon Knights, and in the end I couldn't find the last Dragon Knight until I died. The third thing I want to touch on with you guys is the optimal level for a particular build. This level occurs at level 8 and 9 for most of the builds, and when adding more, and this is when adding additional units are actually optional for the particular build, and the choices is actually more situational. For example, we're adding an Enigma to counter Knights, we're adding Nagas to counter Mages, we're adding a few more front lines because we know we have a weaker front line, maybe we're adding a Lone Druid, but Lone Druid is not crucial for the build most of the cases. We want to delay reaching optimal level before around 26 if possible. There's a few reasons we discussed earlier, simply because optimal level can be level 9 usually, and if you get to level 9, you actually lose rates for 3 cost units. So if we're desperate to survive, of course, we want to rush the optimal level earlier, and while we only have 1 and 2 star units, this would actually impact a lot of our chances of coming top 3 because we're in a desperation mode, because we rushed to level 8 and 9, but this will minimize the chance of us coming bottom 3. So it's more like a loss minimization instead of capitalizing on our chances of winning. For example, if I'm down to 20% health and everybody else is above me, I'm so desperate, I know adding down 1 star disruptor on my troll lineup will give me an instant hex. I'm happy to level up because I want to protect health. But doing so means I won't have the goal to be rolling for my other units, and it's likely I won't be top 3. I'll be lucky to be top 4 over here. And this was made as an example in multiple of the comeback builds where we aim for top 4 and sometimes we get lucky with the top 3 or top 2. But most of the cases we come top 5 or top 4 because we started so badly at the start of the game. When we look at rerolling, we want to consider our lineup strength. And lineup strength actually depends on the number of the units we have to 2-star and 3-star. And as a general tip, the 3 cost and 4 cost units are likely to be 2-star, and the lower cost units, 1 cost and 2 cost units, can be 3-star if we're lucky enough. If we're weaker than most players in comparison, it's better to level to the optimal level after round 25. This is to protect HP. The optimal level can take us usually to top 4, and then it depends on the number of 3-stars and the lineup, the positioning and the unit choices to decide the winner out of the top 4. We often see people who reach level 9 or even level 10, but without rolling properly in the early stages, they tend to fall off against a mage at level 8, even at level 9. Here are some examples of the optimal level for different builds. For the Trolls, it's the Trolls plus 4 Knights, optimal level at level 9. 4 Trolls plus the Knights. We can have the Abaddon of course, plus the Necromancer and the Disruptor. This will have 9 units on the board. This will give the Troll the minus armor from Undead and the instant hacks and the disable from Disruptor. Of course, we can go to level 10 here to add a Medusa or a Tide Hunter or even a Techies for something bonus, but usually optimum is at level 9 for Trolls. Similarly, the Knights and Dragons can be optimum level at level 9 plus 1 additional Undead. You can stay at level 8, which is already optimal but not maximum potential. So level 9 allows us to have a Necromancer for heal and for damage, or maybe a Death Prophet, or maybe a Lich for additional spell damage. For the Elite Warriors, the optimal level is at level 8 to be honest, because warriors tend to mature a little quicker than most builds, and having 3 or 6 warriors and having some of the purple warriors to 2-star can actually be incredibly strong, because you can combo them with the Nagas, with the Dusa, or even curve into the Hunters for a backline firing squad. You can also consider using Undead, Lone Druid, or any other valuable 2-star purple units. Usually for Elite Warriors, I'll definitely have the Conqueror's 2-star, Doom as 2-star, and perhaps my Troll Warlord as 2-star. Troll Warlord is optional if I have another form of damage dealer. For example, if I have the Slaughter, Medusa, Tide Hunter, and the Beastmaster. So those 3 hunters are actually quite decent even in the late game, because the Dusa and Tide is a great controller, while the Beastmaster is something we can roll into 3 stars. Lastly, the example for Assassin, optimal level is level 8 actually. We can have the 6 Assassins giving us the 6 Assassin buff. We can have the Treant as 3-star, plus the Razor or the Lone Druid. This gives us the Elf Evasion, a great tanking body, and a great AoE with Razor, or additional tanking and damage with Lone Druid. If the enemy tends to hit harder than us, or we need a bit of tanking, we can have the Treants and the Lone Druids. If we needed additional damage in terms of AoE damage, we can have the Razor. And lastly, if we want to defend ourselves against mages, maybe the Tide and Medusa is great for the Assassins. To summarize, I split build analysis into 3 different stages. One is mature, is when our build just become quite strong with the synergies and we can save up some gold. The second stage is lock and roll. It's when we actually use the hard-earned gold to start rolling for units to 2-star and 3-star. This is when we start spending the gold. And lastly, optimal level is when we want to achieve when we know this is when our build is the strongest. In the future guys, what I'll be doing is I'll be using those 3 references for build focus. And thank you so much for all your support guys. If you want to support us further, please like, subscribe and comment in the video. And if you want to support us on Twitch, please come over to say hi. Please follow and please use Twitch Prime subs here. Thank you so much guys, and I'll see you guys next time.